Last week we were talking about sex. Some of you have it and some of you don't. Welcome to Do It Like Danny, starring Cousin Louie with Cousin Angelo and starring me. Hey everybody, welcome back to Do It Like Danny. Today is one of our newest episodes ever. And as I said before, last week we were talking about sexuality. And gosh, sexuality is rampant right now everywhere. Angelo, you gotta be in your notes. What's happening?
Oh my God. Okay, I didn't.
I'm gonna say sexuality.
Speaking about sexuality, it seems like everybody is getting in trouble because of it.
Okay.
Speaking about sexuality,
yes?
I have the latest on the P. Diddy trial from last week.
Well, dial us in.
Welcome to Celebrity Corner.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right, with the K.
Cars for Kids.
Which is our first sponsor. Yay!
Speaking of cars.
Oh, yes.
So Kid Cudi was on the stand this week, and apparently P. Diddy put a Molotov cocktail in his car and blew it up.
Allegedly.
Is that allegedly?
Allegedly.
Oh, okay.
Because P. Diddy found out that Kid Cudi was dating Cassie.
Correct.
Was this before or like, what do you mean? Like while she was still
simultaneously.
Oh,
yep.
So she was doing the Diddy and then got the Cudi.
Or he didn't make the Cudi.
Well, you know, we're talking about a Tootsie Roll versus a real rapper. So apparently Cassie and Cudi were out.
Yeah.
And the friend of, or the makeup artist of Cassie was in the driveway while P. Diddy broke into Kid Cudi's house.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
And he was sitting there and he called Cudi. P. Diddy called Cudi and said, "Hey man, we need to talk." And the makeup artist tipped him off, Cassie and Cudi. Whoa. Pity's in your house. Diddy's in your pity. Yeah, pity Diddy. Pity Diddy's in your house. Diddy's in your house. So they went over to confront him. There wasn't a big blowout, but about a week later, that's when the car was blown up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm fine. You know, celebrities are getting in trouble left and right
They're just like
with their
us.
sexuality.
Yeah. I
Right?
mean, it's true, but
yep.
I mean, you know, honestly, to be honest, it's not just celebrities. I mean, even when I worked in television.
You worked in TV.
3 Emmys later. And so that was for Danella. Yeah, you know, even in television, I mean, now that we're talking about sexuality in this particular show, yes, celebrities have their ditty pitties, right? Yep. But it actually happens behind the scenes also too.
Oh.
And the reason why I say that is because, you know, oh God, in my career of working behind the scenes, there have been multiple times where I have witnessed, you know, people kind of coming together, right? Mm. Even some that were married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know, and so, you know, I just got an update, and I was talking to a friend who was talking about the show, because the show ended, you know, last year, and he was giving me the rundown of all of the PAs that ended up getting married.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, you're with somebody 14, 15 hours a day.
Yeah, you're bound to connect.
You're gonna
way.
develop a rapport with someone, and it's
Yeah.
always so funny. It makes me laugh because, you know, HR is always like, you know, we can't do this. You can't like fraternize with this and that, but it happens. It happens at every single level. It even happened in my own department.
Yeah,
I didn't know about it until later because certain people, David, kept it from me, Stacy. So right? Let's go
Were
back.
you fraternizing?
No,
Or-
I wasn't fraternizing. It was
okay.
actually one of my staff members.
Did you want to fraternize?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Oh God, have I ever? Well, with my, I
It's not a line you wanted to cross.
think of a time where I ever wanted to fraternize with one of my staff members.
Wow.
Listen, some of them were cute, but some of them were just like, ugh, right?
Yeah.
But I can't say I ever was like, oh, if they ever propositioned me, I'd be like, yeah,
Really?
right? I can't remember.
Very
Now maybe
professional.
in other departments, right?
Well, that doesn't count.
Well,
Right, yeah.
I mean, then I'd be like, oh, I mean, listen, there was security,
Yeah.
there were firemen on the lot, there was medical.
Oh, so you like uniforms strictly?
Oh,
it
is that
seems
what-
like.
Oh, is
Seems
that,
like-
wow.
yeah.
How'd you get all that there?
You said fireman. You said
Oh, my God.
You said cop. I was like
Oh.
security. You like that badge?
Wow.
He's setting fires.
So wait, so next week you're like, Louie's car was someone broke into it. It caught fire.
Oh man.
P. Diddy Daniel.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
I never thought of it that way, but okay, all right. As I get higher, I'm like, I never thought of it that way.
It starts growing longer and longer. Knocks over the camera.
Oh, God.
Oh my goodness! Things you learned about yourself on your own show.
Still growing.
Oh my God! That
You know
was
what's so
actually
funny
really
is I actually have a story. When I worked at the MTA, I was in the
wait, I
back.
didn't finish my story.
Oh, okay, go ahead. I didn't want to come in.
Thank you, Louie,
Yes.
for calling me out on my apparent. I have a badge asphyxiation fetish.
Yes.
Thank you. I thought you were gonna say vag. No, I have a badge fetish. Who knew? Maybe I do. Oh God. Maybe on next week's show. It's
What is up with that badge?
all these topics just coming out the woodwork. What will P. Diddy do next? Will he wear a fireman outfit?
He will wear a burqa and nothing else from below.
Oh, but is that it? Are they?
We'll talk more
We'll talk
about
about
that
that
later.
later.
Yeah.
So going back to my story back at work, yes, it was kept from me. I found out about it later because it was in a roundabout way and people were obviously imbibing. And I found out that there were two of my staff members that, well, one was married, okay. Ethan, and he loved hanging out with Tawny and loved both of them. Like, honestly, like, Ethan saved my life, and we'll have to talk about that story one day also, too, and he really did save my life. And then going to Tawny, who, God, I absolutely adored. I always adored everybody that I hired, right? And they, I guess, developed a friendship, right? He never, from what I understand, he never cheated on his wife. He just had like what the kids call now an emotional relationship,
Yeah.
right? They were hanging out, they were doing stuff together, and meanwhile, he had a wife at home. Now, I don't know the situation. I
Yeah.
can't speak to, maybe it wasn't, the most ideal situation
Right.
at home being married. I don't know. What I do know is they developed a camaraderie together, and eventually it became more. I found out about it when it became more and he left his wife.
Yikes.
That's when I found out about it and how it all came to be, and then there was more to the story. So I was on stage, right? I wasn't even there. I was on stage in an actual taping of the show. Meanwhile, back in the office, the wife kept calling looking for Tawny, right? She wanted to question her to find out if there really was something going on. Meanwhile, Stacy was fielding the phone calls, okay? Stacy was very good.
She's a very good wingman. That's
She was a
wingman
very,
move
yeah,
right
you
there.
know what? Stacy was good at being a good buffer.
Yeah.
Right? Stacy was very good at that. I
What
mean,
was her role?
she was
The buffer.
Yeah, she was the buffer.
I don't know how to take that.
Yeah, Stacy was good because Stacy was all by the rules. And so, the wife kept calling, and then the wife kept calling the different lines
Yeah.
in the office
Whoa.
trying to find Tawny. And I don't know if, supposedly Ethan didn't come home. Like, there's more to the story, right? I should totally ring David's ear and find out what happened. And then meanwhile, they're telling me this, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what happened? What happened? I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, and of course it's a personal thing. I mean, should I have known? No, but they all kept it from me because they were all in that damn office, all of them, okay? And they kept it from me because they thought that if I found out, I was going to fire Ethan or Tawny.
Yeah.
And that would have never happened.
Yeah.
How
But they
would you
didn't
have
know.
handled
They
it?
wouldn't have known.
oh my God, how I would have handled it,
Separated them.
yeah.
Definitely.
No, I wouldn't have separated them. Honestly, I probably would have consulted HR first just to make sure that I was doing the right thing, but I would have never fired them, and I would have made sure that they would have never gotten fired, and they wouldn't have gotten fired because in this day and age,
But if
especially
you-
in television.
But look
If
at
you went to HR, though, I'm sorry. If you went to HR, wouldn't they tell you, well, no, you would have to fire them, no?
No, because HR would then make them sign a paper. So maybe back in the past, but after the Me Too movement, they did. HR actually kind of like updated themselves, and they realized that relationships in television happen way more frequently than people even realize, right? In addition to celebrities also too, right?
Yeah.
So perfect example, celebrities that's their only environment. Of course you're going to date another celebrity.
Yeah.
Is it rare that you date a civilian or, for lack of a badge? You know what I mean? Like,
But look at what happened to Julie Chen and her husband, and I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Les Moonves.
Les. I mean, he's at the top and he got fired. So why wouldn't the underlings, if they're doing the same thing?
well, here I can speak to that.
Okay.
Because the people that knew what was going on were getting promoted.
Okay.
Yeah, in my department, it was a very low ceiling.
Yeah.
It was me, and then that was it. There was no going further than that.
But the thing is, what came to my mind was the fact that was happening. The reason I asked you about that was because if Les, who's the head of CBS or that division, could get fired, why wouldn't an underling?
So because Tawny and Ethan were peers, it was if Ethan was a manager or vice versa, then yes, there probably would have been an issue that needed to be addressed, whether someone gets transferred or somebody does move on. But because they were peers, they were in the same level.
Okay, yeah. So there was no power play.
Yeah, there was no power play at all
Discrepancy.
whatsoever.
Okay.
However, in Moonves' case,
Yeah.
he was the head of the company.
Yeah.
So,
But you would think they'd be clean on all aspects just to avoid any more scandals.
No way.
Across the
wait.
board,
No
right?
way.
No,
I don't
can
mean
you?
to interrupt,
No.
but this is the perfect example because right now in the news, P. Diddy is being held accountable for things that he did that he probably never thought would come to light.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, you've been listening
Right,
to
yeah.
the trial immensely.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't. I'm still on Amber Heard and Johnny
Yeah.
Depp. And you are, you're in it.
Well, Nancy Disgrace is giving me my news. I'm getting my news from her. But what's interesting about the P. Diddy is he was actually, during these freak-offs, taping them and then threatening people that he had insurance. He would call those tapes his insurance policies.
Yep.
He even extorted Cassie's mother for $20,000, which they didn't have.
as if he needs it, right?
Is coming into play.
crazy.
He is crazy.
Well, he had a lot of power.
He had a lot of,
power.
well, he did. And so did Moonves.
Yeah.
Les had a lot of power.
And
Yeah.
Epstein.
And-
Look at all that power.
But do you think Les was doing freak-offs?
No,
Well, see-
but he had somebody blowing him
I
on the
get that.
hour.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Of
also,
course.
too, he had
Yeah.
the button in his office.
No, he had a button. I didn't know he had a button.
Wasn't that
me.
Matt Lauer too?
He had the button. I'm pretty sure, like, hold on, I don't have Wi-Fi. What's the Wi-Fi here?
Allegedly. Verizon.
Are you Verizon?
Yeah.
Searching.
Why didn't you let Celebrity Corner look it up?
Yeah, you're on now.
Okay. Yeah. That was Matt Lauer.
Correct, yes.
Definitely Matt Lauer.
Oh, who had the button?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
but
one of
that-
them had a
That's
button.
why the morning
It would-
show wrote it like that.
Oh,
It would
wow.
lock the door.
Oh, yeah, I know
The
that
morning
part.
show is about Matt Lauer.
Oh, interesting.
They tried to mimic without mimicking it.
Without mimicking, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, if you think about that, that's like premeditation.
Oh, yeah.
For you to have some sort of a security button that locks the door from the comfort of your desk, that's like predator-like behavior.
Yeah.
And nobody said anything
On whose account?
on Matt Lauer's account to have a button.
But see, we don't know. We don't know where the power play was there. Matt Lauer was a huge newscaster or whatever they call them nowadays.
anchor.
Still weird.
Of
Yeah.
course
Still
it's
weird.
weird. You don't think it's? I mean, you could probably. play it off and say, well, it's for security, or I mean, I'm sure there's all sorts of excuses that they came up with on both ends.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, you're doing bad things.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You're doing
Yeah.
bad things. So, going back to the story, I found out about it later. They went back and forth. They're lovely people, and they are now actually together.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they have a wonderful relationship. I see them posting things on Instagram all the time. They look so happy.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for them. I love both of them. I've always loved Tanya. I've always loved Ethan. I've always loved all of my staff members. Now, they may say something differently, but, professional versus, for me personally, like, I always...
So wait, not to interrupt you real quick, but talking about all these things, I still find it hard to imagine that you, of all people, didn't at least find one person that you work with that you're like, yeah, I would actually have sex with that person if they gave me that vibe. There wasn't one person.
Dare you? How dare you? So, what I can honestly say is, and this probably isn't the right thing to say, but for me, because I hired every single one of those people, they were my children.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were my kids. So I didn't have that mentality because I was responsible for their development.
Yeah.
I was responsible for
Not taking advantage of them.
showing them the hard knocks and showing them that this is the reality. I think the only thing that I'm guilty of now, well, obviously back in the day of my career, I was guilty of, always having to be right. That was so fucking dummy. Totally guilty of that. But I think I was also guilty of, I protected them so much. I really protected them. I never wanted them to see how ugly television was. And television can be very ugly.
Yeah.
And I tried to coax them into the hard knocks. Some of them survived, some of them didn't.
Yeah.
Some are still in it, and they're doing amazingly well.
Got it.
And I did. I got a little message from one who, I'm going to have her on. I don't want to say yet because I want her to say it. And I got a message, and she sent me a text message. She said, let me tell you, she says, I'm so happy that you taught me how to document everything.
See, Angelo, I told you he was just looking out for us. That's why he's always angry and throwing stuff at us. See, I told you it's for us.
It's for you. No,
The
but
abuse that goes on.
But they were all my kids, and I will always feel responsible for all of them, no matter what they do.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's kind of the truth of it all. That wasn't on my mind at all whatsoever.
Well, you know what? Speaking of sexuality, why don't we go back to the topic that you brought up last week,
Oh, which is what?
which is being uncomfortable in your sexuality.
I just
that's
wanted you to
right.
repeat it because I wasn't going to say it.
Which was a shock to me to
was a
hear
shock
you
to both
speak
of us.
those words.
Why?
Because you seem so free.
Remember,
and-
this is for us, Angelo. This is for us.
Yeah. Because you seem so self-assured and angry.
Have you heard of emotional eating?
I thought Nancy Disgrace was angry. Because you seem so comfortable with yourself. That's, I think, the contradiction.
Look how he's avoiding it.
You just spit on Pepper, by the way.
He's going to start choking next, and then we're going to have to call
yeah.
the cops.
God, that carrot's
Oh, he
so
just wants a paramedic to show up. Full circle. I say let him choke.
Circular storytelling.
Allegedly.
Oh, man,
What's
that's
up,
good.
Doc, with your carrot eating habits?
Well, that gag didn't work so well because that carrot it's visiting. It's still there. I should have tried that with like a chip or something.
So, Louie, you had never heard that before.
Never.
Okay.
Never. That
Nor
was
have
the
I.
first time.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why you guys are always attacking me. You're always attacking me. It's so hard. It's so hard.
At this rate, we'll get to it in the next episode.
We'll let you. Do you need a minute?
Let's cut to commercial. Get ready. 1, 2, 3. 1877. Cars for kids.
Oh, so dramatica, Maria
I mean,
Carey.
do we have time to talk about it now, or do we have to wait till tomorrow's show?
Hi. You have 10 minutes to wrap it all up.
Damn it.
Yeah.
All
you're
right.
in it.
So maybe I seem comfortable with my sexuality. I don't know. It's interesting because I think a lot of it's attributed to this day and age where you just got to be careful, right? You know, there's so many people that are out to hurt us, right? Even though we're 1%, they love to come for us.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know, it's because we're pretty. You know, I don't know. It's because they design well, like yourself and Montecito. It's beautiful. You know, I don't know if it's just because colonizers lack amazing traits. I don't know.
So is it just recently that you have felt this way, or has it been since you were, like the duration of your being out, that you have had moments of maybe more intense discomfort than others? Because again, I've never known you to hide anything.
Yeah.
Fair. I'm always on guard.
Oh.
But without showing it.
Yeah. I'm always on guard. It's always in the back of my mind whenever someone gets into the car or whenever I step into a location.
Yeah.
If I'm just getting a car wash, you know, I catch myself because, you know, I'm like, hi, how are you? Right. And I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? Sometimes I revert back to that because you just don't know nowadays.
Right.
It's such an uncertain environment. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting older where I'm just cognizant now. I'm more cognizant of the energy that I bring into the room. I can be very in your face. I can be a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I can be a lot.
Yeah.
And I have to understand that if someone's at level 5 and I come in at a level 1,000, it's going to turn them off.
But you strike me as a person, if somebody confronted you about your sexuality or was demeaning, or you would just shut them down in a minute.
I probably would shut them down. I would do it in a really nice way. I wouldn't do it in that catty, like, nowadays it's very catty.
Yeah.
And I see these kids, they are coming, I don't know where they're coming from. I don't remember being, listen, have I been gay? Absolutely. I don't remember being that catty. I don't remember being.
It's the snap of the finger, and I'm going to read you, and I'm bigger, and I can yell louder. It's that mentality.
But you know what they've done with that, though? They've taken these younger kids, and then because now they have the ability to, you know, be on the internet, they take, like, you know, this is trans rights, and then you're
like they weaponize it,
and you're transphobic, and this, that, and the third, and you're like, whoa, settle down.
They go so far with it.
Yeah. It's every aspect.
I see what you're saying.
It's every aspect, and then they wonder why they're not being taken seriously.
But can I try? I'm trying to make the connection as to those particular situations that you're speaking of, and how this is making you uncomfortable with your own sexuality.
Okay.
Because that's a recent phenomenon. Right now, everybody's loud and proud and whatever. We've added multiple letters to the alphabet just for,
right?
You know, all of that.
So now it's like guilty by association. So when you kind of are labeled as being gay, then whoever you're with, if it's a new group, they come with the intent or the presumed thought of, oh God, we're going to hear about trans or we're going to hear about that.
But you're not in people's faces about it.
You're
not shoving it down people's throat.
I really try
maybe.
Sometimes.
Yikes. That'll be for the next
Vegas
episode.
days. But right now, and maybe we'll just fast forward that to this particular climate right now. Right now, it's a little scary to be anything.
Yeah.
You know? It's really scary to be anything. Even more so, even though we're 1%. Apparently, we are very, very, we intimidate people.
Yeah.
Shocking.
It's really interesting, though, because you talked about how you pretended to date women early on, and now you've kind of, and then you went through your coming out, right? And very comfortable with that. And now it's kind of you're coming full circle where you're now starting to recede a little bit more into just masking it.
Well, I think also, too, it's just,
or not masking it, but having that deeper voice when you're in a certain situation versus just who you are.
I think I'm becoming more socially aware. And again, it goes back to what I said before. I'm trying to be more responsible for the energy that I bring into the room.
Yeah.
I don't want to walk into a room with people that I don't know and just be,
in your face.
Fireworks.
Yeah.
Razzle
That's
dazzle.
a lot to deal with.
That's
Not
a lot.
Just you,
That is a
but
lot.
with anybody.
It's a lot to deal with, and I want people to get to know who Danny is.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
Danny's been walking into rooms for years at 1,000.
Yeah.
Right? And people are like,
Yeah.
it's tiring.
Yeah.
I don't want to be tiring anymore.
Yeah, but I think the more comfortable,
Darnella.
it shocks me because I've always admired just how, again, comfortable you've been with yourself and just and not being in your face, but just this is who I am.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so I attribute it more to that's my personality. Like I'm a
Oh.
big personality.
And now you've let everybody down for that.
I know, right?
Okay. Allegedly.
Yeah,
We're ending the
allegedly.
show now.
Which is so crazy. I mean, I never thought of it that way. I mean, yeah, I'm more careful now.
Because that was a big statement you made at the end of the last show.
Yeah.
That you weren't comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not. And listen, I know maybe I've said this before. Like if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't do it.
What?
I would be straight if I had the opportunity.
But
Well,
you
this
wouldn't
isn't
be
a
able to hold
choice.
on to
Is
it.
a
Yeah.
choice?
It's not a choice.
I was born this way, Lady
Yeah.
Gaga. Thank you so much.
So you would just have the family hide it and.
Well, a lot of other men are doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
that is the new black. I mean,
I'm gonna have to edit all of that.
not black people, but that's the new black. You know what I mean? Like that's the new
Oh,
thing.
orange is the new black.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, why don't you say
That's
that?
the thing.
Yeah.
Like that's the new thing, and that is there's so many closeted men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and they have families, and that's the thing now.
We
Like-
become such a rigid society. And again, I wish we didn't have labels. Because I think if we didn't have labels, people could just exist.
But Americans
Fair.
love their fucking
They
labels.
do love their labels.
Yeah.
And
They
whether
have to
you're-
stand somewhere in their individualism.
But those labels we're finding are made in China.
That's where you should
And
end it
now
right
they have
there.
tariffs. Yes. So speaking of tariffs, we'll be back tomorrow because we're gonna charge you.
But wait, I had a celebrity encounter.
I'll
I'll share that with you next week.
Yes, please share with it. No, it's tariffs tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Next week.
You can't
But
tomorrow.
wait,
You can't do any more drugs.
I know. But wait. Oh, wait. Now I feel like I'm just like performing.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Tomorrow.
We will find out more tomorrow from cousin Angelo and his supposed celebrity encounter.
It's big.
We're here tomorrow. Tune in.